Welcome back, fellow witches and mystics, to another episode of Witchy Ways for Modern Days. This is Brittany from Winslow Naturals. And today's episode is a part 2 of a series that I have not paid attention to in some time. So I apologize for that. I've been preoccupied with shadow work, but today we are going to be diving back into the world of deity work. So if you are tuning in today, we are going to be picking up from our last deep dive episode on deity work. So this is the official part 2. If you have not listened to part 1 yet, I suggest that you press pause and go catch up on that. I don't remember exactly what episode number it was. It was fairly early on. It was, I'm going to say it was like 6 weeks ago from today's date. Approximately that long ago. So I do recommend you do that. It is full of the foundational knowledge on how to identify which deity might be calling you. I talked about how to do some research and how to initiate contact with respect and how to do it safely. This episode is going to be geared towards those of you who already feel the presence of, or at least you feel some sort of pull, to a divine being or to divine beings, plural. You've dipped your toes in, you've maybe even built like a basic altar, or you've received a sign, and now you're wondering to yourself, what's next? So today we are diving deep into how to build a deeper mutual relationship with your deity or deities, how to read and interpret signs without spiraling into confusion or potential delusion, what to do when every sign goes quiet, and how to course correct when things don't feel right, when things feel off. So I want you to grab a beverage. We're going to grab some tea. I have some warm tea with me at the moment as well. I want you to light a candle while you're listening. Let's do white or purple today. And I want you to settle in, and I want you to take this information in as best you can. So we're going to start with building an active relationship with a deity. So just like a human relationship, your connection with a deity needs pretty consistent attention, intention, and energetic exchange. So maybe you have lit a candle and you've said hi. That's the invitation, right? That's the opening to the relationship. But from that point, it has to become a collaboration. So what actually does a healthy devotional relationship look like? Well, it looks like consistency without codependency. And this one can be tricky. So you don't need to pray or offer anything every day unless your practice calls for it. But consistency is what builds energetic trust. So maybe you offer your deity incense every Monday, or you pull a tarot card for their altar once a week. The point isn't frequency, it's about sincerity. So I want you to think of it as devotional. We're not going to think of it as transactional. And I want you to also consider that offerings do not have to be only physical. So yes, wine, candles, flowers, herbs, crystals, all of these are lovely things, and they are appreciated by spirit. But don't forget about energetic offerings. This is something that people kind of tend to skip out on because they don't quite understand the importance of it. So energetic offerings. This could be acts of service. So doing things that you know that deity would appreciate. So let's just take, for example, you're talking about Artemis. Doing any sort of like volunteer work or even donating to like an animal shelter, that would be something that would be quite important in a deity like Artemis' eyes, or even any sort of nature, forest, animal deity. Energetic offerings, creating something in their name. So if this is a creative deity, you could do some poetry for Athena, you could do some writing for Thoth, you could do some beautiful art for Apollo, some music for Apollo. Epona might really, really like that you do some music work as well. You could live in alignment with their values. That is energetic work as well. Live according to the values that that deity represents. And you could be taking action in your own life to align yourself with that. So for example, if you're working with a goddess of justice, if you are working with Justitia, or you're working with Ma'at, or you're working with even Nemesis, really, standing up for truth in your community, for your world, for your country, is a form of living prayer. That is something that will be considered an offering or worship for that god or goddess. And then your sacred space and your communication. So whether you have a very detailed altar or just a symbolic shelf for them, having a dedicated space invites their presence. Therefore, it creates a portal for ongoing connection. So I am fully aware, most people, accept this. Not everybody has ample room to have altars. Even one, like if you live in a smaller bedroom, or you have a smaller apartment, or let's just say you don't have a small place, but you're a maximalist, right? You might not have the space for these things. That is understandable. You can make even like a miniature altar. I'm talking tiny, like 6-inch dish that you call an altar in quotations and put stuff in. You can take 6 inches. It doesn't matter where it is. Like something. You don't have to have this huge elaborate setup. They like them. It's not a requirement. So don't feel bad if someone has a beautiful, beautiful, huge 6-foot table, long altar for Aphrodite that's filled with seashells and filled with these beautiful pink frilly things and all this stuff. And then for Aphrodite, you have the equivalent to the size of an Altoid box. Altoid tin. There is nothing different about those two in the eyes of the goddess. I promise you, I am not trying to make you feel better. They are grateful for any space that you give them. So having a dedicated space invites their presence. You can speak to them out loud. You can speak to them in your mind, throughout a journal. This is not weird. It is sacred work. And trust me, even if it's written, they hear you. Now, some deities like clear spoken word. There are some that do. Others tend to prefer silence. They prefer stillness. The more that you interact with your deity, the more that you're going to learn about them, and the more that you'll start to feel if your form of communication, written, spoken, you'll learn if that form of communication works for them. So you guys are kind of make your own energetic language that the two of you understand. Receiving, interpreting, and confirming signs. Now, let's talk about signs. This is one of the most exciting and confusing parts of deity work. You're going to often hear people say things like, "Oh, I saw a crow and I immediately knew the Morrigan was calling me." Or, "Oh, a stag appeared in my dream, so I knew it had to be Cernunnos. I saw a doe. I knew it was Artemis." But how do you actually know that this is a real sign? Or if this is a coincidence, if this is just something that happened and has nothing to do with a deity? This is a very quick guide I want to try to teach you, and we're going to call it the 3 layers of a true sign. So the 3 layers, we're going to start with part 1, personal relevance. Did the sign stir something in you? Did it make your body buzz? Did it emotionally land in a way that made you pause? Divine signs always feel like they carry weight. The universe will grab your attention in a very personable, unmistakable way. Okay? You might walk by crows all the time. Walk in a parking lot, walk by your building, whatever, and you'll see crows. They're crows. You don't really notice them. If there is one day where all of a sudden there is a crow that for some reason you cannot stop staring at, you are feeling a divine pull. That's not a coincidence at that point. So that's step 1, or part 1, I guess. Personal relevance. 2, pattern or reoccurrence. So 1 sighting of a fox, that could be random. But seeing a fox on television, then in person, then on a sign, then in your dreams, that's a pattern. I want you to look for repetition across different sensory channels, okay? You're going to look visual, words, songs, dreams, audio. Typically, these signs will appear in 1 or more of these types. Not always, but often. And then 3, contextual alignment. Did the sign arrive at a moment of ritual, prayer, or intention? Or did it happen after you asked for a sign? The context matters greatly here, okay? If this is a direct response to something that you put out, I want you to pay attention. Now here's a pro tip for interpreting and confirming signs. You can always ask for a confirmation sign, right? So for example, you could say this: if this is really Hecate reaching out, please can you show me keys, dogs, or torches within the next 3 days? Be very, very specific. And then let it go. Do not think about that anymore. Ask for the sign in a very clear manner. Don't think about it again. Don't force it. Divine timing is about as real as it gets. So if nothing comes, it could be a, oh, not yet. Or you could have misread the energy. We are not going to force anything. I want to talk about the void when this silence creeps in. So sometimes the energy that once felt so loud and clear suddenly vanishes. So your signs stop. The altar starts to feel cold. Your dreams go dark. There's no real communication that you can notice. It's like that connection just evaporated overnight. So this can feel very confusing. It can feel painful, especially if you've grown emotionally attached to a certain deity's presence. So what is actually going on? I'm going to offer a few possible reasons for this. Reason 1, it's an integration phase. So after a period of very intense connection, your soul may need time to integrate. So I want you to think of it like, this is a weird term, think of it like spiritual composting. So the growth is happening below ground. It's happening inward. You're not necessarily even consciously aware of it. So just because you can't feel the presence of that deity at the moment doesn't mean they're gone. You might just be doing this sort of shadow/soul integration. Another reason could be that you are being nudged more towards autonomy rather than codependency, I guess. So some deities, especially those connected to transformative work. So think Kali, think Hecate, think Odin. Some deities will intentionally start to pull back to encourage personal growth. It is their way of saying, we're hands off. You've got this. Trust yourself. You've got this. You don't need me. Another reason could be that your energy needs to be cleared. Spiritual burnout or emotional stress or neglecting your own body can clog the communication channel. So I want you to try a reset. You could cleanse your space, you can recharge your aura, take a ritual bath, and revisit your boundaries. So it could be just that like the energy around you is super clogged up to the point where communication from the spiritual realm can't permeate that weird block. And then another reason could be course correction. In rare cases, I want to emphasize the word rare there, the energy may have shifted because something went wrong. Maybe you broke a promise. Maybe you ignored red flags. Maybe you overstepped consent with a deity. Don't spiral on this. I just want you to reflect on it. Offer a sincere apology, do some shadow work, and give the relationship time to heal before you reach out to that deity again. These are potential reasons for silence. So let's end with a toolbox to help you strengthen your connection to a deity. So here are some tangible ways that you can deepen and enrich your deity work. Devotional journaling. Write letters to your deity. Channel messages from them. Reflect on the lessons that they've taught you. This builds an emotional bridge. Use ritual tools. So our ritual sprays and oils are crafted for this very specific purpose. You want to choose an oil, spray, whatever ritual tool that matches the energy of the deity. For example, love intentions surrounding Aphrodite. You could be doing some creative endeavor oils for, let's say, the Dagda. You could be doing some sort of lunar or moon ritual work for Selene or for Luna. So I want you to use whatever it is before you do meditation, during offerings for this deity, or while you're anointing candles or tools. You want to use ritual tools because they are meant to guide you in a good direction. They're meant to help you. Tools are not meant to harm, they're meant to help. You could do mini rituals, right? Create mini rituals, even 5-minute practices. These can help keep that connection alive. So you can greet them in the morning, greet that deity in the morning. Leave offerings with your meals. You can light just a singular candle and simply breathe with their energy. You don't have to speak to the deity all the time. You can simply light a candle, breathe, and feel their energy. Not even meditate, just breathe and feel it. And then you can practice trust. So the work that you're doing doesn't always have to be loud. It is always valid, though. So trust your intuition, document the journey, and release any expectation that you are holding on to. Every single relationship in the world, regardless of what type of relationship it is unique, and expectation is only going to harm you. So, to close this portion of deity work series, I want to remind you that divine work is very close to mirror work, very close to shadow work. Deity work at its core is not about just connecting with an external divine being. It's about discovering your own divinity within you. We are all beings of energy, whether we are deities or whether we are currently in human body. Your own power, your patterns, and your potential are things for you to discover in this process. The gods and goddesses we call to, we pray to, are reflections of the archetypes we carry within us. So the warrior, the healer, the lover, the wise one. Whether we are in a season of fire and devotion or quiet and introspection, this is all sacred work. Every last bit of it. So in part 3 of this series, we will be diving into how to differentiate deity energy from ancestor energy, or from spirits and guides, how to discern who is actually calling you, and how to keep your spiritual house, which you give and gift space towards a deity to, how to keep that clean and safe for deity work. So until then, I want you to keep lighting your candles. I want you to trust your signs, and I want you to walk with reverence. Thank you so much for being with me. Until next time, stay grounded, stay magical, blessed be.